Novak Djokovic commented on the discomfort he felt in his wrist after the Laver Cup, which was played last weekend. The competition, won by Team Mundo, was marked by the farewell of Roger Federer to the courts, who played a match alongside his great opponent, Rafael Nadal. In this video, we'll talk about Novak Djokovic's injury in detail, so make sure you stick with me to the end. Novak Djokovic has been experiencing troubles with his right wrist for the past few days. Novak Djokovic has talked about the painful wrist injury he has been dealing with this week at the Laver Cup. He said he wasn't able to control it when he lost to Felix Auger-Aliassime. Djokovic played his first matches in a long time on Saturday night. He played singles and doubles matches right after each other, and the 21-time major winner looked great as he beat Frances Tiafoe easily, and then teamed up with Matteo Berrettini to win another match for Team Europe. Djokovic was the clear favorite to beat Felix Auger-Aliassime on Sunday and make Team Europe's lead even bigger. Team Europe would have only needed one more win if Djokovic had won, but he was clearly not at his best, and Auger-Aliassime took advantage to get 3 important points for Team World. After the game, Djokovic didn't say anything bad about his opponent, but he did talk about the wrist injury he got this week. When asked if he was a little sore from playing twice on Saturday night, Djokovic said yes, that he was. He added that he has been having trouble with his right wrist for the last 4 or 5 days, but that he had been keeping it under control. Novak Djokovic looked into why he got hurt and found that the conditions of the court and the lack of matches were to blame. He said that it is possible that he hasn't played a match in almost 3 months, and the conditions here make the balls really big and slow. He added that when you use them a lot, they kind of just sit there on the court, so you always have to make a lot of wrist action and speed, which, could be why his right wrist has been hurting since he has been training and playing there for the past 4 days. Novak Djokovic thinks it's also because of the 2 matches he played the previous night. He added that he was excited, that he played great, and that he looked very sharp and felt great on the court, but today he said that he also felt like he hadn't played enough. Novak Djokovic had not been seen since the Wimbledon final in July, when he beat Nick Kyrgios and won his 4th straight title. Due to his lack of COVID-19 vaccination, he couldn't play in any tournaments during the North American swing. Next, Novak Djokovic reveals his plans for the rest of the year 2022. Novak Djokovic was turned down by North America, but he will be able to play in tournaments in other parts of the world. The Serb started the season as the world number 1, but he fell in the rankings because he wasn't allowed to play in many tournaments, including the 2022 Australian Open and the 2022 US Open. Even though he won at Wimbledon, it didn't help him in the rankings because Russian and Belarusian athletes were banned from the event, so he is currently ranked number 7 in the world. Djokovic, who is now back in action, has talked about his upcoming tournaments, even though he was worried about getting hurt. This week, the 21-time major winner is set to play at the Tel Aviv Open. He will play in the Astana Open from October 3rd to 9th. The Serb plans to play in the Paris Masters after that. He also said that his goal was to get to Turin for the NATO ATP Finals. Djokovic said that the goal is to try to make it to Turin. He also said that he is in a good position and that he will play Tel Aviv and a 500 in Kazakhstan. And then he was supposed to play Bercy and Turin. Let's see if it stays this way or if something changes, he added. In other news, Ruud joins Nadal and Alcaraz at the ATP Finals in Turin. The Norwegian Casper Ruud, 23 years old and number 2 in the world, certified his place for the ATP Finals in Turin from November 13th to 20th, once he qualified for the quarterfinals of the ATP 250 tournament in Seoul, where he began by beating the Chilean Nicolas Jarry. Getting a ticket for the event that will bring together the 8 best of the season was a formality for the Nordic, who has won 47 of the 63 games played, reaching the finals of Roland Garros and US Open. Ruud joins his Spanish executioners in Turin, Rafa Nadal, superior in Paris, and Carlos Alcaraz, best in Miami and New York. He did win at the ATPs in Buenos Aires, Geneva, and Gstaad. The pupil of Christian Ruud and Pedro Clar, his liaison coach with the Rafa Nadal Academy, will repeat in the Italian town, where he made the semifinals in his 2021 debut. He entered the group stage losing to Novak Djokovic, but then beat Cameron Norrie and Andrei Rublev, which gave him a place in the semifinals round, in which he collided with Daniil Medvedev. After Alcaraz with 6,460 points, Nadal Nadal with 5,810 and Ruud with 4,930, the Greek Stefanos Tsitsipas is the best place to get into Turin. He has 4,630 points in the race, with Medvedev 5th with 3,375. The current cut is established by the Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime with 2,860, since Novak Djokovic is 15th with 1,970, a position in the top 20 that would be worth him being the Grand Slam champion of the course by winning Wimbledon. What's next? Let's talk about Fernando Verdasco surprises in his debut in Sofia. The Spanish tennis player Fernando Verdasco, 116 in the ATP ranking, debuted this Wednesday at the ATP 250 Indoor Hardcourt Tournament in Sofia with a valuable victory against the Georgian Nicolas Basilashvili, 37 in the world, whom he defeated by a tight 7-6 and 7-5 after an hour and 39 minutes of fighting. The 38-year-old veteran Spanish player withstood his rival's attacks in an even first set that had to be decided in a tiebreak, in which Verdasco was much more in tune and managed to break the Georgian's serve 3 times to prevail by a clear 7-1. The outcome of the initial set left Basilashvili touched, who had a hard time finding his tennis at the start of a second set in which he quickly found himself 3-0 down. He reacted in time and managed to tie at 5 games until in the 12th time of serve, the tennis player from Madrid snatched his serve and sealed his victory, the third in 4 clashes between the two, by taking advantage of the first match point he had. Verdasco's rival in the second round will be Australian Alexander Vukic, 144 racket on the circuit, who beat Italian Fabio Fognini 7-6 and 7-5 on Tuesday. Next up, Sara Sorribes says goodbye to Parma in the round of 16. The Spanish Sara Sorribes was defeated this Wednesday against the American Lauren Davis in the round of 16 of the WTA 250 tournaments in Parma, Italy, on clay by 3-6, 6-4, and 7-5 in an intense match which lasted 3 hours and 5 minutes. The first set was dominated by Sorribes, world number 67, who took serve 3 times from Davis, 67, to take the first set without suffering too much. The tables turned in the second round with the reaction of the 28-year-old American, who broke the Castellón player's serve twice and came to have 2 set points, wasted before winning it and sending the match to the final set. Both tennis players managed 2 service breaks until Davis was able to once again break the serve of Sorribes, 25, who ran out of time to react. Sorribes was the only Spanish representative left in the Italian tournament, in which she beat Italian Martina Trevisan on Tuesday and had just fallen in the first round of the US Open. Lauren Davis, who is 2-1 in victories against Sorribes, will face Egypt's Mayar Sharif in the quarterfinals. Wrapping it up, Jean Munar falls in the round of 16 in Seoul after standing up to Shapovalov. The Spanish Jean Munar had options for victory but was finally defeated in the round of 16 of the Seoul tournaments by the Canadian Denis Shapovalov, who won 7-5, 6-4 in 1 hour and 49 minutes of play. The Mallorcan, number 59 in the ATP, reacted quickly to a loss of service in the first set, but did not do the same when his rival, 24 in the world, broke him for the second time and confirmed with his serve to take the set. In the second quarter, Munar resisted the American's attacks without losing face in the game. He saved 3 match points before finally conceding victory to 4th-seeded Shapovalov, whom he had never met. It was also the first clash between the Ecuadorian Emilio Gomez and the Japanese Taro Daniel, who won 6-4, 6-4 in a round of 32 match. Norwegian Casper Ruud, world number 2, is the first seed in the tournament. The Chilean Nicolas Jarry, coming from the previous phase, will be his first rival in the round of 16. So that concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. See you next time.